I then spent 18 months reading a lot of science papers and developing lots of recipes to rid myself of my chronic constipation, my very dark and low moods, and inflammation all over my back. I'm now eating in this happy tummy way for 10 plus years, and I would say I'm in the mental health and gut health of my life. I feel very stable all the time, which I think says a lot for my diet. I can make good decisions. And in general, I would say I'm a very happy, purposeful person that doesn't live with the chaos that modern diet culture feeds us with. My background, I used to manage the Entrepreneur of the Year program. Some of you have seen that on RTE. So I used to travel around the world interviewing Irish entrepreneurs for this TV show, which really aggravated my constipation symptoms, I would say. And so, yeah, I moved to London when I was in my early 20s, and that culture and that access to incredible ingredients and other cultures really fed this drive to create a brand that was centered around this idea that if you live through preventative medicine, you will diminish your chances of getting very sick later in life. And so I'm pretty dogmatic about fiber. I'm pretty dogmatic about being responsible for your own health and not depending on a supermarket or health store to curate what should go into your stomach. I talk about poo a lot, so hopefully you're comfortable with that. And yeah, I think, I guess I've been described a lot as being kind of an activist. I was never really comfortable with that word because I think it involves a huge amount of responsibility. But as I age, I'm getting more and more comfortable with that because my work is more vocational, I would say. It definitely is the very opposite of capitalism anyway. Even though the bread's very expensive. So it contradicts that, but yeah.
Thank you so much for being so flipping honest in a world where we hide.
Yeah.
And that's the change we need to see. It's that honesty, and we will buy into that because you allowing us to come on your journey will resonate. Certain parts of that will hit hard with certain people.
Yeah, big time. And that's it, you know, like everyone in this room, we're all the same.
Yeah.
You know, we're all the same. But
do you mean we all poop?
We all poo.
Wow.
Some of you I'm sure probably struggle to poo, as do 37% of the people in Ireland today. Others here will struggle to keep food in. And so this might sound like a triggering thing to say, but most people in Ireland today are actually malnourished. No one takes RDAs on labels seriously. People think that by eating salad and protein and almost eating without pleasure and without enjoyment is healthy. People think having muesli in the morning is healthy. People think eating clars in the morning is healthy, but only if having gone through the right processes. And so today, I hope to be able to teach you guys what you need to do to the food you eat to actually stay nourished. Most people in Ireland today aren't getting enough potassium. What happens when you don't eat enough potassium? You can't excrete waste from every single cell in your body. So most people here today have a lot of waste built up in their cell. How does that transform into something that you can relate to? A bad decision, a bloated stomach, feeling ick, just not having the wherewithal to live in the moment, to have good attention span, to remember information, to get introduced to someone and they say, hey, my name's Niamh, and 2 seconds later you don't even remember her name's Niamh. And this happens all the time at our bakery school in Mayo. People come in, they meet 20 or so students, no one remembers anyone's name. I'm giving them information that they can't retain because they are malnourished. They don't have enough calcium, they don't have enough potassium, they don't have enough magnesium in their diet. Supplements are not the answer. And so what we're trying to do in the Happy Tummy Co is give you ways, give you breads that will nourish you so hugely that you don't need to be as concerned about not taking your RDAs into consideration in the other meals that you're eating and the lunches and the dinners. Obviously that's the end goal for us, but we're going to be around a long time, so we're going to go on that journey with you. The bread I'm presenting to you today is the oldest bread in the world. It's called injera. It is made up of a grain called teff, and teff is here. Can someone come up and take this jar from me, and you guys can pass it around?
I can get one of them.
So,
Caroline,
if you pass that teff grain around, open the jar, have a feel of it. You will see how small this grain is in comparison to a wheat grain, a rye grain, a buckwheat grain. This is gold. If there is one ingredient that all of you here today should make as part of your diet, teff grain is it. The pharaohs used to be buried with this grain because they believed it gave them afterlife. Cup for cup, it is the most nourishing ingredient in the world. It is the only grain that has vitamin C. Vitamin C is obviously hugely essential for our immune system. Again, no one in this room probably is ingesting enough vitamin C. So 76% of your immune system is in your throat. So through eating foods that are very high in vitamin C but very low in sugars, you can allow that vitamin C to infiltrate your system and have it really affect your immune health. So that's one thing it does. And obviously in today's world, we are all conscious of our immune health. The other thing is, it is really high in prebiotic fiber. Prebiotic fiber is a resistant starch. That means it resists digestion. It goes straight to the colon. It feeds your good gut bacteria. It allows your good gut bacteria fertilizing the growth of more good gut bacteria. The more good gut bacteria you have in your gut, the longer and healthier a life you will live. So central to all the products that we make and central to all the foods that we make up in Mayo is that we want you to have a huge variety of good bugs in you. So we're making injera today. In Ethiopia, injera is used as a plate, and you then just put the foods on top of that and eat with your hands. Who here, okay, what has more potassium? A banana or a potato? Banana, potato? Come on, be loud, it's 11 a.m. Banana! Oh my God.
are we working?
No, we're wrong.
I'm so embarrassed for all of you.
A potato. The great Irish potato is the best source of potassium in the world. One potato this size with its skin on will give you 67% of your potassium for the day. What did I say about potassium? Potassium has the ability to rid waste from every single cell in your body. It is one of the most important chemical reactions to happen in the human body today. This does not happen enough. That is why people have waste buildup. That is why people are constipated, making bad decisions. That is why we are feeling ick. And so, who wants to pass around a potato and have a look at this beautiful potato? Take the potato. You've got the teff. You've got the teff. You've got the potato. You've got everything.
Looks like or feels like.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
potatoes are incredible. If you were eating 1 to 2 potatoes a day with the skin on, your chances of excreting waste from your body every day are almost 100%. And so you've got your incredible Ethiopian flatbread that's got loads of vitamin C, that's got the fertilizer for the good bugs in you. And then we've got cabbage, we've got onions, we've got ginger, we've got garlic, we've got spices, if you're okay with spices, and then we've got lentils. So today we are making for you a high fiber, high protein, vegetarian meal. We've got broth, things have been soaking for a few days.
Delicious.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
And it's delicious. And that's the thing, I suppose, I don't really talk about, because I kind of like for people to taste the food and recognize how delicious nourishing food is. If you are used to eating white bread, if you peel your vegetables, you're eating a pretty bland diet, okay? So this food might be a little bit sour for you. It might taste a little bit malty. You might not be into those flavors, but over time, those flavors and this way of eating will save your life. It will save you from yourself like it did me. So beginning to consider every meal I eat has saved my life. Do I get stressed about making meals? No. I don't make meals when I don't want to make meals. This is what I do. When I feel like being in the kitchen, I will boil vegetables. I will soak lentils. So when it gets to mealtime, most people are actually quite tired because they've had their full day of work. And so that's the worst time to prepare food. But that's when we all prepare food. So, all foods, every single food in the world is made up of nutrients and anti-nutrients. So, anti-nutrients will diminish your ability to assimilate the nourishment in that food if you don't put it through a process that makes it digestible. And so, for example, what makes a potato digestible? Roasting it or boiling it or steaming it? Any answers? Boiling. So, if you want to roast your potatoes, you got to boil them first just a little bit to take out the anti-nutrients. And all this information is up for free on our website. Go check it out. Start preparing your food in that way. So what I do is I boil potatoes when I feel like boiling potatoes, and then the potatoes are available to me to eat when I'm hungry at dinner time. I soak lentils and I cook them and I have them ready to go like I do today when I feel like eating lentils. This bread takes 2 minutes to cook, and it's going to nourish you hugely. So I don't want people to look at this food here and see the amount of preparation that goes into it and be like, that's not for me. This is for you. What I'm trying to teach you is look at your food system and prepare your food when you have the energy and the wherewithal to do so. Don't get constrained by structure. If I was constrained by structure, this business would never have taken off because I wouldn't have believed that people would have spent as much money as they do on the breads that we bake. So it's kind of difficult to digest this information in the ecosystem we live in. But as soon as you start paying more attention to it, and as soon as you start paying more attention to your magnesium, to your calcium, to your potassium, you're gonna feel different. And then it's gonna be easier. And then it's gonna be easier to change kind of habitual behavior and stuff like that. I'm conscious of time because I have a tendency to go on, so I'm gonna get some pans going. So first of all, guys, we're gonna make the potato and cabbage wash, the potato and cabbage stew. So in Ethiopia, they would, the fat that they use there is like a ghee or a butter. I'm using good old-fashioned butter because I feel like we're in Ballymaloe, gotta embrace the Ballymaloe ethos, which is full fat butter. That's also the happy tummy ethos. Tracy, which ring shall we use for this?
Do you want to pop it on here?
Perfect. Great. So, guys, I'm terrible at writing up recipes because I tend to just cook and bake to taste and cook and bake to feel. That's an intuitive process for me. So when people are like, it's very hot. Okay. When people are like, one teaspoon cumin and I'm like, oh God, that doesn't suit me. So I am going to make these dishes spicy today because I want them to be authentically Ethiopian. But you can also make these dishes without the spice. I have noticed personally myself that spice is not suiting me as I've aged. And so in general, I cook all my foods now with just kind of simple broths. And those leave me feeling really, really good. And so again, I don't make broth of a Tuesday night after a long day of work. I make broth on a Sunday, you know, when I've got like some leftover chicken carcass, or I've got lots of wonky vegetables from glossary that need using up. And so a broth is always in my kitchen, and that is fundamental to unlocking the nourishment in the foods that I eat and to enabling those foods to be very, very digestible. And then, like I said to you, I cook my vegetables in advance so that I always have cooked vegetables available to me that then I can put into a wok, I can stir fry, I can roast, I can pickle, anything. So having food available to you is really, really important to keep you nourished. Thank you so much, Tracy. So onions are a really good source of prebiotic fibre, as is garlic. Onions, garlic and ginger are basically the foundation of all Ethiopian cooking. Really interesting fact for you. So the main highway in Ethiopia that allows so many farms to farm in a particular area was built by Irish engineers. So has anyone here been to Ethiopia? Nope. So if you go to Ethiopia, you will find a lot of Irish women living there now, and most of them have adopted kids because there's just a crisis really in Ethiopia. There's 1 million homeless kids there every year, and so it's quite cool to see all these Irish women walking around Ethiopia in a land that is kind of so intrinsically special to food culture all over the world. The Ethiopian highlands, that was the first place where kind of domesticating food happened. So in around 8000 BC, we first started growing teff as a grass for human consumption. And so the farming even that you see here in Ballymaloe, that all originated in Ethiopia. So Ethiopia really is the motherland of food culture, and using food as medicine. So the base of both dishes today are onions, garlic and ginger. So you just want to give those like a quick stir fry until they look a little bit transparent. They don't need to be browned or anything like that. And then we're going to follow that with some carrots and cabbages and things like that. What we are doing here today as well is we are cooking seasonally. So it's really, really important to me and to my gut that I eat organically, that I eat locally. And so these ingredients have all come from a farm up in Mayo near where I live called Glossary. They farm heritage seeds and everything is in season. So the onions, the carrots, the potatoes, the salady bits, they all come from there. The ginger does not come from there. That's the only issue. But so those are looking nice now. Okay, cool. So now we're just going to add some.
Next we have a teaspoon of turmeric.
Teaspoon.
Carrots in first.
Yeah, carrots.
And then we're on
perfect.
to our spices.
Brilliant. Does anyone here have any gut health issue? Like, raise your hand if you suffer with constipation. No one. Oh my God. We got to clone your bacteria. You do a little bit. Anyone here kind of struggle with mental health issues, with just like general inflammation? Yeah, right? We're all fucked. I'm joking. We're
Together
not.
though, we're all together in the
That's
shed.
it, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I joke, but also I very purposefully be like, our modern food culture is not nourishing our brain. So our modern food culture isn't even nourishing our gut bacteria. You have to nourish here first so that the receptors in the brain get nourished. And so if you are not eating the skins of your vegetables, if you are not eating a whole grain diet, the chances of you being able to nourish your brain are really, really, really low. And so it's really, really important that you eat a whole food diet and that you really don't depend on anyone else to make the food that is going to keep you alive and well. Okay, cool. So these are kind of looking nice. This is just gonna stay on the heat anyway the whole time we're here. Do you guys like spicy food, or how you guys are okay with spice a little bit? Okay, cool, perfect. So Tracy might call out to me there what we're.
1 teaspoon of turmeric.
Perfect.
Half a teaspoon of cumin.
Amazing. Do you guys go to Mr. Bell's in the English market? Yeah, great. I went to his warehouse yesterday. It's a brilliant setup. Okay, cool. So we're just going to stir these. Oh, so good. Yum. So
Say that again. Cumin.
Tracy, are these recipes going to go online?
Yes. We're going to have them up so they'll be able to access them through the Ballymaloe Maker.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
The grain store.
guys, I mean, just after this weekend, go look these recipes up and really do make them. And just get into the habit of soaking all the grains and lentils and pulses that you work with. If you don't soak your food before cooking it, you can't absorb the nutrients from that food. So it's really important, if you're working with lentils, if you're having rice, if you're cooking porridge, you need to be preparing 12, 24 hours in advance. And often when I say that to people, they're like, I don't have the time. you're not the one soaking for 12 hours. You're not the person soaking for 24 hours. You are the person that literally puts it into water before you leave for work. And so I think slow food culture and making food digestible often sounds scary to people because they hear 12 hours and 24 hours. And, you know, because our mental health isn't great, we are struggling to be as organized as we need to be nourished. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Okay, so this is quite dry. So the carrots and cabbage and potato one, it's quite like a dry, spicy dish that we eat in Ethiopia. And then the lentil dish is the wet one, so the kind of it all comes together quite nicely. Cool. So we're gonna get cracking, I think, on the lentil one as well. So again, we're just gonna get this ring on, and then we're gonna. Do you guys? Has anyone here not had the injera yet? Do you guys want some tasters? Because the girls can go around maybe with these two.
Yeah.
And does anyone want a fork, or are you guys happy to pull with your hands? Raise your hand if you want a fork. One lady would like a fork, and everyone else is happy to pull. Awesome. This is smelling good. So the injera flatbread, guys, and I'm preparing for you today, we make that in Mayo pretty much every day of the week, and we send it throughout Ireland and into the UK. One of these big bottles here makes 8 injera, and so if you want to try some out next week, you can order through our website, and it really is incredible. If you want to know what I use injera for, I use it to keep going. I also use it for my period pain. I still get bad period pain from time to time, but my bouts of terrible period pain and terrible PMS have diminished quite considerably. Women here that are either perimenopausal or menopausal, using injera every day as part of your diet is you are going to notice its positive benefits. The girls and I at the bakery, every morning for breakfast, we eat injera with a banana, peanut butter, honey, and an egg. And that's what keeps us going. It really is absolute rocket fuel. And it's the only way of making sure you get enough fibre into your diet. You should be having about 40 grams of fibre per day. Most people in Ireland today are only ingesting about 13 grams of fibre. That is not enough fibre to be eating. And so really, really, really hacky ways of upping your fibre are using teff. And if you do have anxiety, if you are struggling with your mental health, that is inflammation. Inflammation is caused by a low fibre diet. And so it's really, really essential that you start taking your fibre seriously. And secondly, it's really important that you start soaking and getting rid of the anti-nutrients in food through the hacks that we talk about on our website. It's really important that you do that. And once you start doing that, in 2 weeks' time, you will notice a difference. I had really severe issues since I was a baby up until I was in my early 20s. And when I started eating our Happy Tummy Loaf, within 3 days, my bowel health changed. Within 2 weeks, I got rid of the inflammation in my back. And within about a year, I would say my mental health kind of had reset itself. So I went from being very depressed, dark, down, chaotic, to a place of stability. And so obviously that matched with sleep is essential. Yeah. So, I'm not saying that anyone here needs to be fixed, but I do want to offer you a way of eating and living that is going to alter your ability to be happy. This business was started because my mom died of cancer when I was young, and that wreaked havoc on my family and the mental health of my family. And so when I was 10 years old, I was out in my dad's nursery planting trees, and I remember having this moment where I said to myself, when I grow up, I'm going to create a food brand that stands for preventative medicine, because I didn't want anyone else going through what me and my family were going through. And so the idea for the Happy Tummy Company stemmed from there, and it stemmed from the fact that food is just reconstituted soil. So you know, this carrot used to be dirt. So this carrot was a tiny seed on the ground and it expanded, but what fed the seed was dirt. And so obviously growing up in a horticulture family was really, really inspiring. And it gave me an incredible relationship with the earth and where our mental health and gut health comes from. And where everything comes from, really. That's where we'll all end up. So it's important that we respect the land.
Well, it's lovely to go all the way backwards as well, Karen, and really understand where it all stems from.
Yeah.
And also to appreciate that everyone's journey, they're the toughest moments.
Yeah.
And you can do so much to help yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's the point of all of this, isn't it?
100%.
And small steps. You
Yeah.
can stack small steps.
Yeah, 100%.
And that approach will help build that change in your diet, won't it?
100%. Like, so when I started off 10 years ago, the only change I made to my diet was I ate 2 slices of the chia teff loaf every morning. My lunches and dinners stayed the same. And then from there, you know, maybe a couple of years later, I did other things. And then 7 years later, I stopped eating pastry because my brain wouldn't allow me to eat pastry anymore, because pastry was really, really a big trigger for my anxiety. So I used to live in France and I used to eat an almond croissant every day. That was not good for mental health, it turns out, so don't do that anymore. And so we kind of live in a world that is kind of sexifying food a lot. And we see pastry everywhere. We see queues a mile long for pastry. And that's amazing if you're in incredible gut health. But for someone like me who struggles to poo, and who struggles to like be stable and think clearly at times, that almond croissant is really not going to serve me well. This is the kind of stuff that's serving me well. So what are we doing here next on this one? We've got our onions.
We've got our basins, we've got our cloves, minced garlic,
cool, now we're
ginger,
doing tomatoes.
our diced tomatoes.
Amazing. So guys, you can see like this is really simple ingredients. Like really, really simple ingredients. We're kind of making onion, ginger, garlic gravies. You know, we're adding tomatoes, we're adding potatoes, and you can make this in advance and continue to eat it like for the rest of the week and just add like different things like chard, spinach, you know, whatever's in season, green garlic. So what I generally do is Sunday is my time to kind of cook a good meal, and then the leftovers from that meal are the starter culture for the foods for the rest of the week.
A mother recipe to multiple daughter recipes.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it.
On Monday I have Emma, on Tuesday I have John, I don't know. But I do think, you know, using names and kind of personalizing food, I suppose makes the relationship a bit tighter.
Yeah. The link, the connection.
Yeah, big
outside,
time.
and that's what we're missing, and that's what you're trying to bring back in, is that
Exactly.
full connection.
Exactly.
From the inside out, Karen.
Yeah, 100%.
Conscious living takes effort.
Yeah.
But once you make the switch and invest the time, it's the game changer.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Who here likes lentils?
Yeah.
They're great, aren't they? So these lentils I'm cooking you, we import from Italy. They come to us by boat, and they are a heritage variety that's grown north of Naples, and I absolutely adore them. So in Ethiopia, you would typically use a red pui lentil to make this dish because you mush them down and they're nice and they're like red gravy. But with this one, I just love these lentils so much, and they've got 26 grams of protein per 100 grams. They're amazing. I do want to say something on, like, you know, when people present and they say, like, this has this amount of protein, this amount of fiber, people only tell you what it is per 100 grams. I want to tell you, on the recipe, the serving is 100 grams. You're not getting like 4 grams of lentils, which means you get no protein. So it's really important when people are talking about nutrition, they kind of give you these marketing facts, but you got to be like, okay, but I need the 100 grams to get the 26 grams. So people will be like, this is the nutrition per 100, but you're actually only eating 30 grams. So, you know, be mindful, take responsibility for your health. So Tracy, what's going on? I've done lentils. Okay, perfect. So This Berber sauce, I'll send Tracy the recipe for this, but Mr. Bell's does one of these, which is incredible.
2 tablespoons.
2 tablespoons. So, I mean, that shop, I think I'm 37, and Mr. Bell's, I'd say, is around as long as me. Do you think?
I reckon.
It's an incredible place.
It's
like
an institution.
An institution.
Yeah.
Is everyone here from Cork, or other people from not here? Who's not here from Cork? You're not here from. Okay, cool. So growing up in Cork and having access to the English market, I think definitely puts puts Cork on the map as a food scene like nowhere else really in Ireland. So guys, the spices in this Berber mix are also really beneficial to your health. So we've got things in there like cinnamon. Cinnamon controls your blood sugar levels, and it ensures that you are going to get the right amount of nourishment without getting that kind of fit and that kind of crazy thing that you get from things like caffeine. So the spices that are used in Ethiopian cooking are designed to allow you to assimilate and digest the food really, really well, without crazy kind of insulin spikes.
Do I need to pop
Yeah,
these in?
perfect. Let's
Lovely.
go for it. So all the potatoes are cooked skins on. So if you eat a potato without the skin on, like most of the potassium's in the skin, right? So you gotta eat your potatoes with skin on. Like on a Sunday, has anyone ever had this experience? You go out for Sunday roast, you feel so lethargic and bloated because they peel the potatoes, they peel the carrots. All the natural laxative in the food that we eat is in the skin of every vegetable. So if you were peeling your potatoes, if you were peeling the vegetables, if you were peeling your apples, your chances of going constipated are really, really high. So it's really important that you're mindful around where the natural laxative is. So it's scientifically proven that we all need to be eating 3 parts insoluble fibre for every 1 part soluble fibre. Soluble fibre is generally found on the inside of the food, insoluble on the outside. And that's why people are stressed. That's why we have mental health issues, because we're not eating in accordance with this ratio. This ratio is really, really, really important for our health. And all the recipes that we bake for people at the Happy Tummy Company are designed with this recipe in mind. Or this ratio in mind, sorry.
And so Karen, back to that piece about your fruit and vegetables having their skins on.
Yes.
So even the purchasing of those, to make as best a choice as you can,
Yes,
will be really important as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if a lot of you are in Cork, you've got access to like good farmers markets. So I only buy my foods directly from food producers. So I buy my vegetables from Glasserie, and then if I eat meat or fish, I do so from the farmer. There's an incredible farm in Clare called Lunas Farm, and they are farming regeneratively, really good pork, really good beef. So I eat meat, by the way. I'm not anti-meat, but I'm very pro animal welfare. However, I do want to showcase how easy it is to eat enough proteins through eating a vegetarian diet, as we are today. So, you know, I suppose, like, I'm big on don't depend on the supermarket for your health, because they also sell paracetamol and ibuprofen and other things that aren't so good for you. So I think we in Ireland, we love supermarkets. I lived in the UK for 13 years, and I moved home during COVID, and I remember just seeing the landscape of Lidl's and Aldi's, can't even pronounce it because I hate it so much. And I was just horrified. I was really, really horrified. Really, really horrified, because those places, they don't really care about your health. They don't care about your mental health. They're not designed to. So for me, chatting with the people that prepare and make your food is really, really important. Chatting with your friends. Where do you get your vegetables? Where do you get your raw milk? You know, eating in season. All of these things, we talk about them all the time. You're probably sick of other people presenting the same information to you. But it can't be stressed enough.
I think that's lovely as well, to get to know those producers.
Yeah.
Because the issue with that is when you get to know them, you fall in love with them.
Yeah.
That's very beautiful about it, because you'll find out their whole story and how passionate they are about it.
Big
So
time.
these farmers markets, they're absolutely incredible.
Big time. I brought my own I get this black pepper and I'm completely addicted to it. So anyone who is struggling with slow digestion, the only spice I really eat every day is black pepper. So black pepper every day on everything. It makes it easier to digest. And also good quality fats, whether that's an olive oil, whether that's a butter. Good quality fats aid digestion. Fact. I wish I had stuck to that when I was younger and I wasn't eating enough fats because I was conscious of my weight. Has anyone here ever gone through a period of time where you were just like, oh God, I think I'm fat. I gotta not eat the cheese. I gotta not eat the yogurt. When I was 12, 13 and 14, I stopped eating butter. I wasn't eating anything that had fat in it. And I hope to God that I don't get osteoporosis because of that time in my life. But let's see. But I think it's important to recognize that fats play an essential role in your ability to digest food. And so picking the right one. So using olive oil on salads. To be honest with you, I sprinkle olive oil on all my foods. I finish all my foods with some black pepper. I'm not sure if anyone has seen this. This isn't an advertisement for them, I just really love them. Has anyone had this smoked onion mayo from Bouillon Blasta? It's absolute rocket fuel. I put this on everything, with eggs, everything. So I'm going to serve that today with this. Where we are time-wise, I'm conscious of...
We are 11:37.
Brilliant, amazing.
Great.
Perfect. Love a bit of timekeeping. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Does anyone have questions so far? You can ask me anything. Yeah. Cholesterol. Brilliant question. Cholesterol and fiber have a very tight relationship. And so as soon as you start increasing your fiber, your cholesterol goes down. That's fact. I do consultations with people, and I was working with a lady, Julie, over the past 6 months. Julie is 76, and the only change she has made to her diet has been she has upped the fiber that she eats, and she eats teff every day, and her cholesterol has jumped from like 7.6 down to 5 in a number of months. So having a high fiber diet is essential for cholesterol. You also, what's your name? Eleanor. Is it? Say that again? Eleanor. So Eleanor, I really like that question because, okay, so let's say you're 76 and you're like, Jesus, that is amazing. I'd like to change how I eat now so that I can offset my chances of being really sick or fatally sick. As we age, our gut bacteria naturally dies off anyway. And so the younger you are, the better it is to kind of tackle and eat in this way. However, what you can change is by eating in this way, no matter what age you are, you can affect everyday things, so like cholesterol. So you can affect cholesterol up until you die, but your chances of maybe getting rheumatoid arthritis because you didn't eat enough calcium when you were younger, you can't undo that. So it is important that you know that the food is going to serve some part of you no matter what age you are, but a lot of us will have done things to our body when we were younger, like I did by not eating enough calcium, that we can't really rectify now. So it's really important to know that you can change things, but there are some things that you can't undo. And that's why I'm so dogmatic about speaking in this way, because you all know someone here younger than you that you can teach and that you can support and help to make sure they don't go malnourished. Malnourishment is the thing that affects everyone. Malnourishment is the thing that affects everyone. You can't say that enough. That is the biggest aggravator in society today. It is the biggest aggravator to evolution, to development, to equality. It aggravates everything. So it's really important to take that seriously, to not compare yourself to other people, to not use Instagram as a way of this is how I should look aesthetically. It is important to have a conversation with yourself and get used to habitual change and not fear habitual change and not fear the discomfort that comes with that and what it brings up, and it brings up a lot. But I think little things like incorporating a superfood into your diet, which teff is, will make a difference to your health. And just if you can do one thing, just pre-soak all your foods. boil your potatoes. Get rid of the waste buildup in your cells. And like Tracy said, indulge yourself and getting to know people, getting to know your farmers. I would say I eat the best in the country.
Yahoo!
And I say that because I eat really tasty food all the time, like all the time. I drink beautiful natural wines. I eat stunning breads. I have beautiful chocolate cake that some of you have tasted. I have chocolate cake every day if I want. I have biscuits. I have all these foods, but we are making them as digestible as we are making them a pleasure. So our big thing at the Happy Tummy Company is you will not be able to change your behavior if the thing tastes ick. So it's really important that we make food taste good. Last night I was in Ballymaloe House and I was kind of reminded of the idea that Ballymaloe evolves because it's a big hub. It's a place where you come and you know that food can be a huge comfort and offer you relief and solace from hard times and hard things. I was walking around the walled garden and there was these beautiful artichokes, and then last night I had artichoke with some John Dory fish, and that is just a beautiful hug, isn't it? Beautiful hug.
The least amount of steps
Yeah.
involved.
Amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's of course not possible for a lot of us, but what is possible is just to research the producers in your area and get to know them. I gotta do this because I see her at the end of the room. Has anyone had Valencia Island vermouth?
Yes,
Isn't it the best thing in the world? So, as part of this, I would like to speak to alcohol. So, I lived in France for a year, studied there, and as part of my course there, I used to drink. I did a lot of wine studies and entered lots of competitions. But what I found really beneficial to managing my constipation IBS was drinking red wine with my dinner every night. So I had 1 or 2 glasses every night for that whole year, and I was feeling good. So I'm a big believer in, I'm not a binger, like I'm not into like being drunk and stuff, but I really love using alcohol as an aid to digestion. And things like the Valencia Island vermouth offer you that ceremony that you need before or after the meal to get your gut bacteria ready. So Valencia Island vermouth, it's made by 2 incredible women, and they've been doing this really cool cocktail thing every Friday, which unfortunately ended yesterday, but you can still see all their videos and stuff on Instagram. So I say that because I love alcohol, I love cheese, I love raw milk, I love having a laugh with my friends, I love having a pint of Murphy's on Friday evening. You know, I'm not this vigil person, like it's like love grass will save me. It will probably actually in the end. But what I'm trying to say to you is that food should feel like the big hug that you need at the end of the day or the start of the day. My most favourite time of the day is at around 7:30, 8 a.m. I've prepped all the injera and the loo rolls. We do this thing called loo roll. It is what you think. I sit down and I have one of these injeras with peanut butter and honey, and I have 1 coffee. I drink 1 coffee a day, and it's in the morning. Freshly roasted 3FE coffee, and I'm having my coffee and I'm eating my injera, and I'm just so happy. It's just the best part of the day. It offers you so much hope and opportunity, and I feel really nourished to then continue on and do kind of the more thinking parts.
You're nourished by education and understanding.
Yes.
Isn't that it? So that's where it comes from. So from there, you can create the choices that make the difference.
There we go.
And so to take 1 thing a month, to understand 1 thing a month, because we
Yes.
really want to be able to make those changes.
Yeah.
But to take on too much is too much.
Yes.
So to take 1 piece a month to understand it,
Yes.
that would really help, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And layer it in.
Absolutely. So I
Yeah.
think, okay, so lesson 1 is, after today, I encourage all of you to buy local potatoes. Boil them and keep them on the worktop or in the fridge. Make yourself some mayonnaise if you feel like making mayonnaise, or just buy some nice mayonnaise like the smoked onion from Bouillon Blasta. And when you feel like snacking, instead of eating a nut, which you cannot digest because it's not been soaked, sprouted or fermented, and is pure fat and calorie, which will not offer you any nourishment, instead of snacking on a nut, snack on a potato with mayo. that is going to offer you a huge amount of prebiotic fibre that's going to stimulate the growth of your good gut bacteria. That's going to give you a huge amount of potassium that's going to rid the waste from your cells. It is this perfect ball of nourishment. It's got magnesium, it's got calcium, it's incredible.
Who's going to accept that challenge? Who's going to leave here today, buy local potatoes, hard cook them, have them in the fridge ready to go, snack on them with mayo? Who's going to do that? Hands up. Who's going to accept that challenge? How do we know that you're going to accept that challenge? Because before you eat it, you're going to take a picture, you're going to send it to Karen, because you're going to tag her. Let us come on the journey with you, and let us know that this demo made an impact.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been sent photos of poo and everything, so you can send me anything.
What's your potato picture? But you're okay.
I don't mind. I'm an open-minded person. I don't care. I went to this incredible movement therapist for a while in London. She did breath work with me, which I found ridiculously challenging. But I came in one day for my session. I was a bit down in the dumps, and she was like, "Karen, I gotta tell you, I gotta show you, can I show you my poo?" Because I had given her some happy tummy bread, and she was like, "Can I please show you my poo? It's so perfect, it's so perfect." And I was like, "I'll go on." So she did it, and it looked like a perfect poo.
I was about to ask what were your highlights, but you just told us.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it. That's it.
Yeah. These things matter.
These things really matter.
Yeah.
But does anyone else do that? Like, when I go for a poo, I look in the loo and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good one." Like, it's good. Like, it's good. That's what I do. Like, even last night at Ballymaloe, because I was eating differently and I wasn't eating the same grains that I normally eat, I was like, "Oh God, a bit worried now, a bit worried about how this was." No, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. 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 Yeah. That's what people say. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who said that.
It's a generational thing, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So, no steaming. So, a really good free tool for everyone is Harvard's University Nutritional Library. So you can go on to Harvard University, I think it's .edu, and it can be a bit overwhelming if you're not used to certain terms, but that is a brilliant free tool to access more knowledge in depth. And then if you go onto the Happy Tummy Co website, there's a tab there and there's a drop down that will, it's nutritional information, and that's a very simple 7-line table of how to prepare foods to get rid of the anti-nutrients. So we've basically condensed reams and reams of information, and so that's a very easy way of you understanding how to pre-digest the food that you're eating. Yeah, no problem. Good. Does anyone else have any questions? Everyone's like, "God, don't ask the food lady any questions."
You're going to say tasting, so that's what.
Okay,
shall
perfect.
we do that?
Yeah, should we turn down the heat on this one?
Do you want it down or off?
That's
perfect.
Yeah, let's turn it off. Everything
Love
off. I really encourage you guys to visit Ethiopia. Clearly it had an effect on me. This lady over here. Yes. Food sensitivities are a big thing because of the commercial diet is not grown in a way that gives you the ratios that you need. So food sensitivities are basically you don't have the enzymes necessary to break down food. For example, who here is maybe sensitive to red peppers? Or like an apple. When I eat an apple, I get a pain in my tummy. Anyway, so if you
present one, we
perfect.
can continue on.
Brilliant.
And then you
Okay, perfect.
talk then.
So I will just play one of these up. Do we have any full one left? Do you know what? Can I do an Ethiopian style?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do it on straight.
Do you want
so
a large
in
plate?
Ethiopia, you have your flatbread, and you roll it up. So you just like roll it up, and then you can cut it in half if you want. So roll it in half, and then just tear it in half. So you've got it like this.
So further connections with the food
Absolutely.
and the ingredients, that
So
touch,
in
sensory.
That's it. In our bakery school, we don't allow people to wash their hands with antibacterial soap because the microbiome on your skin is going to make the bread that you eat more digestible. And so we only use goat soap and porridge soaps in our bakery because we want to retain the microbiome on your skin to allow you to make better and more digestible food.
I heard something recently that people who make sourdough and that kneading process, that hand, once you're using your hand, that it's all going through your system and feeding your gut that way, which is absolutely lovely, and I never thought of it from that perspective before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant.
And for anyone here that has like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, you can probably see I've got a bit of rosacea on my face. For anyone with any kind of skin issues, it's really important that you reduce the inflammation. So in Ethiopia, boiled eggs are a big thing, so we're just going to plop a little boiled egg on top there. Those eggs are lovely. So can you guys, is the camera still on this? You guys can see this dish? How perfect is that dish? I look at that dish. Tracy, do you have the page with the nutrition actually? Because I want to highlight the nutrition in this dish. There we go, that's it. Okay, so I want to tell you that this dish gives you 75% your daily amount of fiber. Woo! It gives you 41% your daily amount of protein. It gives you 100% your daily amount of iron. Who here is anemic? Who here is tired? Lots of women in particular are anemic. This is your food of choice. Get on the teff. It is the easiest way. Being deficient in iron is incredibly serious, and if you go through long bouts of being iron deficient, that is really bad for your health. Teff is the easiest way of getting lots of iron into you. So just this dish here will give you 100% your iron for the day. And then we've got in this dish 28% your daily amount of calcium, 41% your magnesium, 100% your vitamin C, and 100% your potassium. This is better than any pill, right? Yes. Really? Yes, truly. I'm like, guys, you gotta get more excited about this. Am I the only person that thinks about nutrition?
No, we're here with you, Karen.
Oh, God.
It's powerful.
Tough crowd. It's tough crowd. It's early days. You all need a vermouth. Can we get vermouth for everyone in the audience?
Yes,
here a little bit.
So tell us about your cookery school.
So we're based on the west coast of Ireland in Westport, lovely Westport.
Yes.
People are always like, why did you end up in Westport? I actually was never in Westport before I set my business up there. So I think it was just something else brought me there. So we are literally, you drop a pin in Westport and we are there, right in the middle. So we are a bakery and a bakery school. We call ourselves Teach because it's really hard to describe what it is we do. I think the best way of describing what we do is we're a safe house. So we're a safe house for all your needs and troubles and stuff you're trying to work on. So people walk in and I kind of do like mini consultations with people, and people can come and they can do the day courses, or most of the time people are just getting the bread delivered to their homes all around Ireland and in the UK. Our long-term goal is to have an outdoor bakery school where we teach people how to bake on fire in the countryside of Mayo. We will be getting on the road this year in a van, because I hate supermarkets so much. We want to be a Happy Tummy supermarket on wheels, so we want to go to villages and towns around the country and meet people from all walks of life and just make pizzas and make our breads and make things like this on the road. So yeah, we're going to be around. We're going to be around for a long time. I'm 37. I figure I've got 30 years in me at least. But it's pretty special being in Westport because it's a very spiritual place. And Mayo has some of the best ingredients in the world. The raw milk that we use, the eggs, the vegetables, the meats, and obviously the mountains. Like it's world-class food. Yeah, it's heaven on earth, really. I love it there.
So that's where they can find you when you're not on the road.
That's it.
Yeah. So book in, tell your friends, because it matters. This is really important.
No, it does matter.
It's so valuable.
So, did anyone guess potato when we talked about potassium? No. Okay. I've got 2 bottles of teff here. Does anyone who thinks that they should get a bottle of this batter?
Well, let's ask. What's the nugget? We need a nugget.
We need a nugget. Okay. Eleanor, I feel like you could deserve one really because you asked a good question.
Tell us the nugget. What did you learn today?
Eleanor, is your cholesterol high? Okay. No, Eleanor, you get one. Eleanor. You get one. F you, doctor. We got a injera. Eleanor, you gotta get an injera. Okay. High cholesterol. Okay, you guys gotta tell your doctor So you need one every morning. Every morning on a really good non-stick pan, and use coconut oil, not butter. Go to the website, there's a video that shows you how to do it. So every single morning, 1 injera every day, use coconut oil, wipe it onto the tray with some kitchen roll or whatever, and then just pour it in a spiral, 2 minutes on either side, eat it with an egg, peanut butter, hummus, whatever you fancy. But anyone here who is being told that they need to go on statins or some form of medication for cholesterol or any type of inflammatory issue, please come talk to me. Send us an email. We are the medium between you now and that. You don't need medicine until you've tried teff. So please, 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 try our Happy Tummy Loaf. Try the injera. Buy the teff grain from us. Make some soaked porridges. Try those steps before you hand your health over to medicine. Go on the website, thehappytummyco.com, and then there's a tab that says ferments to your door. Order it there, and then we can bake you one on Monday and it'll be with you on Tuesday. Not that one because I would have no business, but we teach you how to make all other breads. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, this lady? Yes. You need lots of vitamin C in your diet. Teff is lots of vitamin C. You need lots of magnesium. You need lots of fibre. You need to reduce the inflammation. Teff and other high fibre foods will be very good for that. So everyone has pretty much nearly everyone has a t-shirt. Brilliant. Amazing. How does it taste out of 10? Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a real privilege to be here, and I really, really hope that you can teach your friends and family about this approach to living, because it's so important. I think if we as a country, and we're a small country, if we can sort out our mental health through the food that we eat, we can be an example for other countries to do the same thing, and that's our long-term goal at the Happy Tummy Company. We want to use Ireland as a global platform for change. We want to show people that through eating a really good, high-nourishing diet, that we as a country make better collective decisions, and we are a happier race because of it. So that's the long-term goal that we're trying to achieve. So it's been a real privilege. Thank you so much. I don't have a lot of time after, but for anyone that has any burning questions, email info@thehappytummyco.com. We get back to people on Monday through to Thursday. Anything at all. There's no questions off limits, and everything that you say to me is obviously in confidence. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. One minute. All grains, millet, quinoa, all of them. Wild rices, all of them have to be soaked. If you don't soak them, you just ingest calories and no nutrients. All of them. And again, go to the website and go to the nutritional tab. The one final thing, guys, anyone who likes Asian food and things like that, and soy sauce, never cook soy sauce. Soy sauce should only be used to sprinkle over food at the end. If you're cooking soy sauce, it's very cancerous. So just that's one thing to be sure, but that's on our website. So she's like, oh my God, we got the soy sauce. Oh no, like nuts are high in calorie, and they are empty vehicles of nutrients. They have to be soaked. So we have nuts in all of the things that we bake, but they are soaked, pre-fermented. So snacking on nuts, yes. Yes. Yeah. So if you're snacking on nuts, they're high in calorie, right? Yeah. Do not buy teff in a health food store. That teff comes from Ohio, Spain, or Holland. That genome is only made for horses in Ethiopia. We are the only people in Ireland selling Ethiopian teff, which is made for human consumption. So on our website you can buy teff grain, and it's next day delivery. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thanks so much. Thank you. Great. Cool.